Thanks for joining me in this project. Check out the links below for a full list of materials. The Sent With Love Pendant is going to be made from a strip of peyote that we fold and create into an envelope. So this is my strip of peyote here that I have not finished yet, and here I have my finished version. You can see the sides here are seamed up, and what that allows me to do is create a nice little pocket here where I can put something and give this to somebody that I love. You may want to put something like a little love letter, a little stone, or my favorite, these little heart charms, tiny heart charms. So we actually have another video on these, and they fit perfectly in our little envelope. And then once we put a little ring or a little loop on here, that can be a lovely pendant for somebody. So what I'm going to do now is just walk you through how to design the strip of peyote that you want to use. We are not going to go through peyote in this video. We have a lot of other videos showing peyote, a lot of other projects doing peyote. So if you do need to brush up on peyote, or if you've never done it before, go ahead and check out some of those videos. We'll put some links in the description below. And now I'm going to show you guys how to decide what kind of lovely design you want on your peyote strip. As I mentioned, I'm not going to go through how to do peyote stitch since we have already a lot of different videos and tutorials showing you how to do the peyote stitch. But I am going to show you how I used my graph paper to design my stripe so that I could see what that looked like before I dove into actually creating the strip of peyote here. I have my colors here that I decided I want to use, and then I chose some markers that matched them. So I have here my silver and my gray. I have a dark purple, and it's pretty shiny, so I'm using my red. And then I have a purple marker, so I'm going to use that for my more mauve color. And I didn't use any color for this bisque color. It's pretty white, so I just decided to use the white of the paper itself. Once I had the colors that I was going to use, and I have my graph paper here, and you can get that from PotomacBeads.com. It's just a free downloadable graph paper, so very handy. And what I did next was just started to draw an outline of what kind of stripe I wanted to create. With the stripe, it's pretty straightforward, but with more intricate designs like this diamond that I have here, or maybe a stripe that varies itself up, it's helpful to make yourself a little diagram. It's just like coloring, coloring book, like a color by number, only you're going to bead by number. I have here along the edge the silver, so I knew I wanted to do a border of silver. And then I wanted to do my stripe in this white or bisque color, and then the mauve, and then the brighter purple. So that's what I've done here. I have my bisque white, my mauve, and then my brighter purple color, and then back to a silver stripe. And what I did here, because I knew I was going to repeat that, all I did was I really just took this segment and I said, okay, if I repeat this, then I'm just going to repeat it until I get to the width that I want for my peyote strip. So that's how I used my graph paper here. There's also some other tutorials on using the graph paper, so I would recommend checking those out. I would recommend getting some graph paper and just having fun with it and just seeing what you can create with it, because it's really very handy and it helps you get your design out and out of your mind onto paper before you start tackling it in peyote strip. So a quick note on the size of your peyote strip. Once you've determined how wide you want your peyote strip to be, you're going to take that measurement of how wide it is, and you want the length of your peyote strip to be at least twice that length. So I have my handy little bead ruler here. The pattern that I chose to do is about 24 inches, or 24 beads wide, not 24 inches, 24 beads wide, which actually turns out to be only about 1¼ inches. So to make a nice looking envelope, when I have my folds put in there, I really want it to be about twice the width of this. So twice 1¼ would be about 2½. So you can see here, I'm right at about 2½ inches. So that's about the size that I want it. You can of course have fun with these dimensions and you can change them. You can make your envelope in different sizes. But if you have at least the length being twice the width here, then you'll absolutely have plenty of strip here to make a nice envelope. Once your strip of peyote is complete, you're going to take the bottom portion of your peyote strip, and the bottom portion is going to be where you last worked. So I have my last row of peyote stitch here that I added. My threaded needle are coming out of my delica on the corner, and I'm going to take the bottom portion, about the bottom third of my strip, and I'm just going to overlap it, bring it up and overlap it with the rest of the strip. So I have about 1/3 of my peyote strip overlapping the other 1/3 of my peyote strip, and that leaves 1/3 for the flap. These dimensions work really well because it then gives you plenty of flap here, so that when you bring it over, it overlaps nicely and it has plenty of that peyote strip to lay nicely and hang down, and it will stay down. So you can play with those dimensions, but I have found that the rule of thirds works really well for this project. You can now start attaching your sides here and seaming this up. So what I've done on these previous pieces that I've made, having my threaded needle coming out of that last delica, I'm going to cross over to the delica on the other side on this strip of peyote just sitting below, and just go down that delica. I'm going to flip this over and work on this side. So then I'm going to take my needle and thread and go up from the bottom through the top. So I'm going up through the next delica. And then I'm going to cross over to my front strip, and I'm going to go down through the delica next to the first delica. And I'm just going to keep repeating this. It helps to flip your project back and forth. So I'm coming down through one delica, and I'm going to go to the next delica and go up through that delica. Crossing over, I'm going to go down through the next delica, the delica sitting across from the one where I'm coming out. And then on this back side here, I'm going to go up through the next delica, so I'm in position to cross over and go down through the next delica. So you're crisscrossing back and forth here and just going up through one delica and down through the next. I'm going to do this the whole length of my section here that's overlapping until I get to the end, and then I can reinforce that and tie off my thread. I'm then going to attach a new piece of thread and do the same on this side. After seaming up both sides of your envelope, we're now going to add a ring or a loop of seed beads, something to use to hang this as a pendant, or you can add it onto a keychain, whatever you'd like to do with it. The location that I like to use for this is right at this location here where our top and bottom overlap. So right at the base here where your flap begins. And it doesn't really matter if you add it to the front or the back set of beads, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a wire guard and a jump ring. I have my thread and needle here coming out of one of my delicas, and I'm going to just pick up that wire guard. This is a closed jump ring, so I won't be able to open it and add it later. What I'll need to do then is add it to my wire guard before I finish attaching my wire guard to the project. So I have my wire guard here on my thread, and I'm going to just take my ring, pick that up with the needle, and let that ring fall into that wire guard. I'm going to pass through, once I've gone through my wire guard on both sides, I'm going to pass through the delica next to the delica where I'm coming out and give that a little pull. Make sure that you have your wire guard in place where you want it and you don't have any slack. I'm going to go up through the next delica. This delica is actually the first delica that where I first came out and added my wire guard. So I'm going back to the first delica and give that a nice little tug and pull everything tight. So it's easy to get slack with your thread here. So if you're just gentle and pull that thread through, you'll be able to get it nice and tight so that you're not leaving any slack. And if you have any of your thread that comes out of the wire guard, just gently put it back into position and pull it and put it into your wire guard. So you want the thread to sit in the little channel at the very top of the wire guard. And give everything a nice little pull again. Oops, didn't quite get that in my wire guard. Okay, third time's a charm, it worked that time. Back down the other side of my wire guard through that same delica. So I'm going through the same two delicas, making sure that my thread is falling and getting caught in that little channel. And now I've gone through my wire guard a couple times, so it should be pretty stable at this point. And I don't have any thread that is showing. I don't have any slack in my thread. So at this point, I can go ahead and tie this off, and I think this is secure enough. So you can see here now I have a little wire guard, and I have my ring attached to that wire guard, where now I can then run a necklace through, or I can use this to attach to a keychain, however you want to attach it, however you want to use it. So all I'm going to do right now is just tie off my thread, and then my finished piece will be done. I have my completed Sent With Love envelope pendant. I've added a chain to this, so it's a beautiful little pendant necklace now. You can add lots of different things to your envelope. You can add a picture, you can add a little love note, you can add a little gemstone, or you can do what I've done, and you can add a couple of these dainty, tiny little hearts. Perfect for a Sent With Love pendant. I hope you enjoyed making this piece. If you did enjoy this tutorial, definitely subscribe to our channel if you're not already. This way you'll be notified as soon as we have other tutorials that you may want to try. You can also like this video, you can share it with your friends, and of course you can always take pictures of your own creation and share it with us on Facebook. We look forward to seeing you there.